Welcome to Agile Done Right. This is our inaugural podcast. I'm glad to have you with us today. Hope you're with us today. So why are we doing this podcast? Mostly because I like to talk. No, that's not it. I did have someone tell me, Mike, you like to talk, you should do a podcast. And I don't know how I felt about that, but here we are. And the truth is I do like to talk about certain topics, and Agile is one of them. And now 25-ish years in, helping companies deliver solutions and having an experience with things done well, things done poorly, and just about everything in between. I felt there would be value in sharing that experience. It's a lot of the reason why I do what I do with Agile coaching and transformation is the satisfaction of being able to share experience and good things and bad things that people can take and then learn from and hopefully improve their situations. So I am passionate about talking about Agile. Now, Agile is a buzzword in a lot of ways. Every company I know says they're Agile. I would dispute a lot of that. I've seen Agile fail or be performative or ceremonial many, many places. I like to say it's often more performative than transformative. And my goal is to make it actually transformative. I got into Agile because of necessity. Most of my career has been responsible for delivering technology. So needing to be predictable, needing to be able to deliver things with quality in a way that's sustainable, so that the folks that create the innovation and the folks that deliver the solutions can do so indefinitely, protecting people from burnout, ensuring that people are engaged and accountable and excited, and those conditions by which innovation can exist or can be created, I think are important from a sustainability perspective. So I'm passionate about these things, and my intention is to bring lots of different guests from my history and companies I've worked with, folks that I've been friends or colleagues or just people I've respected for many years. I want to bring on the show and be able to share with them and debate with them and make the show as rich as possible with lots of different perspectives and experience. I was told there's not a lot of this there as far as podcasts that are focusing on Agile. That may or may not be true. Admittedly, I haven't done much research. I'm not really looking to try to compete with what else is out there. I'm looking to create something that may be unique or interesting and develop our own audience on the merit of that in itself. So we'll see how we do. And I hope that you'll join us for the experience. Now, this is just an introductory short episode to talk about the intention. I'll talk a little bit about my background. I'll try to do a little bit of that in each episode so that folks that may be new or joining in an episode can get some of it. But if you're joining from the very beginning, let me tell you a little bit about me and my experience. I've spent most of my career with Fortune 500 companies, McKesson Healthcare being Fortune 15. When I was there, we were spun off from that. McKesson Technology Solutions was spun off into a deal where we merged with another private company called Change Healthcare. I think in that merger, we quadrupled the size of Change Healthcare, which was much smaller. And in doing that, then within a few years, that company went public. McKesson still owns 75% of it until they went public, and then there was a divestiture of some kind. That company was shortly after bought by Optum, and I was with them through some of the Optum transition. Really left to move to Philips shortly before it became official that we were doing transition stuff for quite a while with them in advance of that. Optum being part of United Healthcare, which is a Fortune 5 company, and I was recruited to go from there to Philips, which is Fortune 500, I think somewhere in the 300s, but they've been up and down on the Fortune list. It's a company that I think is well known in many ways for consumer electronic, but Philips most recently is a fully medical device and medical services and technology company. All of the consumer electronics were licensed out to other companies. So it's all healthcare. So McKesson, Change Healthcare, Philips has been healthcare. Before that, I did quite a bit of work in payroll with a company called Pro Business, eventually bought by ADP. I left before they were bought by ADP, but large companies doing things at scale, and in many cases, specifically with healthcare stuff, highly regulated. Philips being global, regulated by many different geographies as well. So, and then Change Healthcare, McKesson, similar situation, lots of regulations around healthcare, and we did some government work, so there was FSMA stuff and some other things there. So it's always been at high scale in large companies, many times big bureaucracies, which are sometimes much more challenging to be agile in. So there's a lot of experience there. Most of my career was delivering technology solutions. Probably 10 to 15 years ago, got very serious into Agile because of the need to deliver solutions predictably. In that, went through lots of learning and certifications, and certified in Scrum Master and Product Owner and lots of other things, and eventually a safe practice consultant, which allowed me to then go teach and certify others. So transformed my organization and some other sister organizations within McKesson, including groups like their IT group, which was, in many cases, sometimes commodity stuff, very different than software development. So unique experience there doing transformation. When I went to Philips, it was really a shift to be full-time focused on transformation, surrounded by a lot of other good folks there at Philips doing the actual delivery, but in a situation where I could help them change the way they work and adopt or re-adopt agile practices. And we were very successful in 3.5 years with Philips. We worked with 4 or 5 different portfolios, different business units, and had quite a bit of success in many of them. The most notable, their EMR division, which really in about 18-month period, as we implemented lean portfolio management, had a shift in EBITDA by 23, 25 points to the positive. Now, we don't take all the credit for that, but we know we were a part of that. And I say we, I mean, I provided guidance and training and certification and coaching and things like that, but lots of folks in these situations are doing a lot of the implementation. So I don't want to act like this was entirely my work, but it was certainly the value in the Scaled Agile framework that I will generally lead with and promote and implement. And particularly in this case, lean portfolio management, which was changing the way they thought about strategy, a lot of rationalization around just too many initiatives in place that were active and in parallel, and therefore everything was taking longer. And we moved to a place where we had really scaled down the number of implementations that were going on to focus on those that had the greatest potential for success and try to accelerate and swarm those. And that was a part of that big shift that was made. And ironically, I think that lean portfolio management thing is missing from so many companies. It's been my experience. It's the thing that tends to be missing the most. Lots of companies have agile teams and agile release trains and things like that, but they're sort of missing the sort of head on that creates actual business agility. So good background, I think, as far as lots of experience to share from these very large companies. In addition, I've trained hundreds, if not thousands of people in Scaled Agile framework from different companies, including outside companies. So I've had a chance to interact with a lot of folks and spend a lot of time with folks in seminars or other SPCs and things, sharing about our experience. So I hope to share a lot of that and do it in a way that's interesting in conversation with lots of other very talented people that I intend to have on the show. Having done that, I hope to also draw and bring some attention to my new consulting company, which is called Alacient. The Alacient name is a made-up word, but it's a combination of alacrity, which means eagerness and readiness, and intelligence. So I liked the combination of those two and creating something that was not going to be in conflict with other companies or other things out there, and short enough to hopefully be memorable. So Alacient is the new company name. And the intention is to be able to do what I've been doing for Phillips and McKesson and these other companies for a wider audience that may include large companies, but also ideally medium and small companies who also may have some needs, short or smaller number of teams, but the work we do can be as low level as helping agile teams to be effective, to be predictable, estimation, collective ownership, built-in quality behaviors, lots of things that make even a single team um, largely more productive, higher quality, happier people, more sustainable practices. And then all the way up to medium and large companies where you start to see the need for things like lean portfolio management and a lot of control and management and thought on how you invest resources and invest capital and all of the things that go along with that in rolling wave budgeting and participatory budgeting and horizon investments, managing short-term and long-term risk. There's consideration for all those things, capitalization, depending on the size of the company and the need. And so we hope to service all of those. And we also will do public training. So if there's, depending on the demand for individual contributors that maybe want to go out and get a Scrum Master certification or get a product owner certification, we can also do public training courses on demand or as the demand would dictate. So that's the intention. I hope that you'll go on this journey with us, both in the podcast, or if you're in a situation with the company and you're saying, boy, we're not predictable and it's driving us crazy. We don't know why we're not predictable, or we're dealing with typical challenges, dates created in a vacuum, or and then the ask of the creative folks to be able to somehow make those things happen miraculously, and those kind of things that happen, and the need to how you can react to that and how you can be successful in those volatile environments. We hope to help folks do. So, who's this for? I think this could be for anybody who's working in solution delivery. We look at, train, and help and coach, and with all of the roles, whether it's strategy roles or leadership. It could be managers trying to figure out how to operate in a model that pushes more autonomous teams and more servant leadership than direct leadership. So we coach managers, any individual contributors on a team, or specialized roles like Scrum Masters, product owners, product managers, release train engineers, the role of project managers and how that sort of changes in an agile model. Stakeholders, business owners, folks that are participating from a vision and governance perspective, how this stuff all affects them. So I think really any role, shared services, could be security, regulatory, quality, things like that. How they operate in this framework and this value delivery practice that is this sort of the standard in organizations today, how to be successful in that. So I think it's a fairly wide audience that hopefully will find this stuff meaningful and useful. So other than that, what to expect as from the podcast and the episodes. We're going to typically try to keep each episode at an hour. We will prepare specific agendas, so each episode should be very tight and tactical and transparent. Deep dives and guest interviews and hopefully modular takeaways that people can actually use. We'll do solo episodes with guest interviews, and if we can get participation or some advanced Q&A or even some real-time Q&A, we'll do some Q&A. And we'll try to release this monthly at first, but ideally we'd like to move to a bi-weekly schedule. And we want to make this conversational. We'll try to limit the amount of jargon that we use, or acronyms or those things that can make it confusing. We'll try to make it as conversational as we can, and strategic. If it sounds interesting, I know it's early and you haven't had a chance to really understand or sample some of the content we plan to create, but the ask will always be the same, which is to subscribe, share it with your team if you're excited about it. I will be publishing the schedule of the topics. We'll be taking feedback from folks on what they'd like to cover. And so we'd like to see folks hopefully subscribe and share. You can send us feedback via email or socially on our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page for Alacient, or even on the Alacient website directly. So thanks for the time listening to this. This really isn't a destination. It's more of a discipline, and it's one where we hope to continuously improve. So we'll apply the same sort of methodology that we do in Agile and solution delivery to our podcast. We'll consider this a journey, and hopefully we can build something together that's last and meaningful and valuable. Okay. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you all soon.